outside, don't talk shit, because I'll be hearing on the radio.
Thank you so, that was the quietest any room has ever gotten. That's like so fast. Thank you for coming out today. I tend to be long-winded sometimes. I'm from South Alabama, so it's like the stories can be. So I have short notes before we get to our speaker. I know you could have been other places today. I'm honored, and I'm really excited that you came today. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. For those of you that, I know most of you, but I'm Kelly Bryson. I'm co-owner of A Catered Affair and Legacy Farms. And I just wanted to say a quick thank you to our sponsors today. So you have napkins to wipe your lipstick because Jonathan Corbett's in the room from Curated Events. Jonathan. So if you need a rental vendor partner, Curated is it, and he's the most responsive. He is great customer service. He's your person. Jordan, Repke Photography. He's documenting every move you make today. So, and I'm going to be blogging about it because now I have blackmail material. So, wipe your lips. Bloom Coffee Cart by the door, a couple of stainless steel tubs. There's iced coffee, iced chai. They are our preferred professional for coffee cart services. They're awesome. They have a fun new printer to add your brand and your logo. So check out, get one of those, have one. Chilled beverage. If you're going to go on tour later, just grab one and go. Aloha Fish Company, the tasty ceviche that you have. They have a pop-up shop. They offer sushi making classes. I'm planning, so the team knows, I'm planning a team building event there soon because it's going to be super fun, I think. Fresh fish flown in weekly from Hawaii. So that was that tasty treat. Heavenly Treats for You. Not only Sheila does great gifting items, she also has a fun retail space in Murfreesboro, the Market at Victory House. So your swag bag today has an item from her, and there's also a giveaway later, so you'll hear more about that. Milford Academy duo, Angela and Lori, lots of experience serving different types of clients. So if you need corporate, if you need social, the biggest thing that I can say, what is meaningful for me to have them here, is that they're flexible and they understand the nature of the event. So really good opportunities for that. And I would be wrong if I did not say something about the other sponsors. Legacy Farms. So Legacy Farms, we've had a lot of inquiries through the years for clients to bring their own planters. And we tried that when we opened in 2010, and it did not work out. So I said, it was a disaster. So I said, let's just try again. So we're working on a preferred vendor list. If it's something that you're interested in, I'd love to talk later. Can't talk about it today. If you feel like your clients would be a good fit here, we want to have conversation about what we can do to support you. We're doing tours today, so you can grab that cold coffee and take a tour if you want. A Catered Affair is how I started the company in 1996. So we have a lot of experience. We have amazing chefs. So I saw clean plates, and that's always my goal. That's how I measure things. We really, our team members, we care about planners and venues that we partner with. So Michelle Harbin, Michelle is our catering specialist. She will be reaching out and would love to talk with you about what you need for your clients at your location or here. We want to partner with you. The little swag bag today, cooling is the theme for the swag bag. There's some eye masks and cooling towels and koozies. And Amy Richardson, who has been with us for 23 years, has wanted a koozie. And this is the first year in 23. First year. So we have koozies. So thinking about one more thing before I talk about our speaker today, I really want to thank my team. Mercy, I didn't know I was going to tear about it. They support me all the time. If I have a crazy idea, they support it, and here they are. I said I wanted to do this for y'all, and they said yes. They bring my dreams to life. Mercy, we're just coming. I was up all night talking to Shannon. team, wait staff, groundskeepers. I have it. I'm just so lucky. I'm also lucky, 2020, blessing. I don't use the C word anymore because that's a trigger word for me. Blessing of 2020 is Shannon Tarrant. I met her because of 2020. We started virtually, and here she is today. She's an educator with over 20 years experience in hospitality. She has legit experience, so it's not like I just said a speaker. I wanted somebody who actually walked the walk that all of us walked and knows all about it. She has real life experience. So she not only has sales experience, she's a sales expert. She teaches regularly, specifically in the wedding industry, and I know not all of you are, most of you are. And so, but what she has to say applies to all of us. She's a speaker at NACE, Wedding MBA, and many other places. I've learned a lot from her. She's honest, she talks straight. I'm thrilled that she could fit us in the schedule to come talk about referrals, because we all need referrals. Shannon Tarrant.
You did so good. Oh God, there's a lot to follow, huh?
I was a
I'm gonna keep her. Round of applause for the food and the venue. Like Kelly said, we met during COVID. The power of relationships and referrals is how we ended up connecting. I'm not from here. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and one of our photographers moved up here, Kathy Thomas with Collective 615, which a lot of you know, and Shannon with Heels and Handshakes. I knew Shannon when she was a munchie, like just graduated college, first job in the industry. And so, but those relationships, like they're forever, right? When you like create relationships and actually work together and build real relationships, not just with business around and not care about each other as individuals, they will follow you your whole career. So this topic actually started because I got asked to speak at a DJ conference, and they said, what do you want to talk about? And I said, I want to tell you how much I hate DJs. Sorry if there's any in the room. I'm like, you're rude, you're terrible to work with, we all hate you. And so I wanted to write a presentation that was specific to all the mistakes that they make. She's been refreshed since then, all the way through, but it's gonna hurt. Because I'm gonna teach you some stuff today that you're gonna be like, oh God, I do that. Or I don't do that, and I really should be doing that. My bad, you'll apologize for it later or not, I don't really care. But I'm direct, I'm quick. Who in here went to church on Sunday? Raise your hand. Pray for me, because I have a foul mouth, and I'm really working on it. But I love the F word, the B word, the S word, I love all the words. So I'm trying, I'm really trying, but if it slips out, I'm like, running joke, keep a count, we'll see how many you get to. But the session in general might be uncomfortable, because sometimes you think you're doing a really great job at something, and then you start learning maybe a system and the right way to do it, and it gets a little bit like, oh damn, that hurts. And I don't want to hear you say things like, oh, that's not me, I don't do that. You do some of these things, I promise you that you do them, I promise. And if your friends are in here and they're like, I don't do that, call them out. Be like, yes you do. Be like, oh, you don't do that. Don't roll your eyes at me, I can see every single one of you from here. You will get busted for it. Also, don't fall asleep. Usually the Instagram presentation, I get at least a few people over 70 in the room that sleep all the way through that one. So if anybody falls asleep today, take a photo of them also, because I have a collection that we use on different things like that. Some of it might be a little bit surprising, but I really believe, I love good quotes. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You know, post 2020, we don't need to call it what it is, digital marketing has exploded in the last 10 years, and there's so many million ways for you to generate leads for your business. You know, you can do SEO and social media and paid ads and organic and all of these things, email marketing and website and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, when the SHIT, spelling it doesn't count, but when the SHIT hit the fan, those of us who lived and thrived were because of our relationships, right? It wasn't because of we got really good on Instagram in that window of time, right? It's because you had the ability to pick up and say, like, I need referrals. How can I help you? How can you help me? Like, how can we get through it? And then I think, then we got back into habits because we didn't have as much time. We got busy. So it's really about this becoming becoming a continuing part of what you put into your business and really building a marketing plan around building referrals, rather than just ultimately saying, I wish I would get them. Or you come to a networking event or a connection like this, or heels and handshakes, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I've been to 3 and it didn't do anything for me. That you didn't do what you were supposed to do beforehand, during it, afterwards, to continue the relationship. We've all heard it. I've been to networking events, they don't work. Who says that in this room? Okay, you liars, raise your hand. You don't have to raise your hand and embarrass yourself. But I know somebody's like, I've tried networking and it doesn't really work, right? But it's because you're doing the same thing without doing the behaviors and the things we can do to go all the way through. So, you ready to find out my top 10 big screw-ups?
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna have to interact a tiny bit. Not too much, but a tiny bit. So in general, I'm passionate about referrals because referrals make you money. At the end of the day, there's so many great statistics about why referrals are a better lead funnel in your business. The leads that come to you through referrals, they're way more qualified in general because the person who referred you has done their job, right? They've kind of gone through and asked some of the questions maybe to get the right people to you. It saves you a lot of time because they're more likely to follow up. I don't know about you, but you get a cold lead and then you start, the chase is on. And you're following up and following up and following up. When someone comes from a referral, they almost never, by the second round, they're like, oh God. Because they know you figured out who it came from and you could go back and be like, where'd she go? Right? So it saves you a bunch of time overall. The conversion rates, it's almost triple leads that come through from a referral. And they are like 3 times likely to book your business because they came from a trusted resource that has given you the information or said, hey, we find value in this business and this company. It's also super precision targeting, right? I know way too much about legacy farms and a catered affair through the years, but like I know who's the right client for here. So if I was at a wedding show as a photographer here in Nashville and the couple in front of me says, oh, I don't have a venue, I could ask the questions to know if they're the right fit for this space and not just be like, well, we love legacy farms. And I'm like, that's great, but don't waste that person's time when you're referring all the way through. The trust always comes, and ultimately, you tend to be able to easier on referrals to upsell them, so they tend to be more profitable clients that come through the door because they came from trust. I love me some good social media posting, but it's pretty, right? But there isn't trust there because a lot of us post and pray. It's okay. It's a marketing strategy. It doesn't work great, but post and pray is better than doing nothing. But when you're working the system through referrals, they tend to spend more. Or did you just point to somebody who posts and prays? You're like, yeah, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Like, fair enough all the way through. But in today's world that we live in, referrals influence up to 50% of all purchasing decisions. That's a scary statistic. And when I say referrals, sometimes it's a direct referral, but sometimes it's somebody goes in a Facebook group and says, I need a lawn care company. 52 people comment. I'm not the one to go post and say I need a lawn care company, but I go search and see who all the other people said. The work is already there. So that is referrals from people I don't even know, right? It's like a disastrous Facebook group post. Aren't those the best in our industry? I need a cheap photographer. Now I pop off and I'm like, define cheap. Can you give us a budget range? More information would be helpful. What venue, what city, what date, what time? And get all the information all the way through. Right? But people influence people. As much as I hate everything about Meta and Mark Zuckerberg and what it's done to our lives through the years, he's not wrong, right? People influence people. Nothing influences more than a recommendation from a trusted source. Like, that's how Facebook grew. There's a bunch of college kids. They built it for college students because they knew we run our mouths and they're like, this is cool, you should see this. And it blew up fast, through that platform. So a trusted referral is the holy grail of advertising. Now, referrals tend to be a little bit more time heavy than dollars heavy. So sometimes when people are like, I don't have time to build referral funnels, I'm like, I can understand that. Then you got to throw money. You're busy, throw money at lead sources, at different lead sources. But ultimately, if you let this go, in today's world of marketing, it's very layered approaches. So you can be incredible on Instagram and run Instagram ads. But then if they talk to their venue and they say, have you ever heard of ABC Florist? And the venue's like, no, I've never even heard of them. The couple's like, ooh, you never even heard of them. Not they're on our list, they're not on our list. I've never even heard of them. It's like, oh, I don't know. And then they see you on social media and then they go to your website, and then like they get a text, so they have to go check their text, and they're gone. Then they go back to planning 3 days later. If you haven't layered the approach in 2024 to marketing, and you're only one funnel here and one funnel there, it's gonna get harder. Because the next generation coming up has an attention span of 4 seconds. I have 20-year-old stepkids. I would say it's 1 second. I wouldn't even give them 4. They don't like, it moves too quickly. So they pop in and out and in and out and in and out. They're literally watching a show on YouTube while we're watching a movie as a family. What is the point of that? I don't know. But like, this is what they do, right? So the focus isn't there, so you have to be in more places. And when this is a trusted source, you know, you think, I'm good at what I do, I try to build these relationships, but how come people don't refer me? And it's because you're making mistakes. So, you ready to blow through? So I live in a weird space. I own a wedding venue directory in Orlando. Think Nashville Bride Guide, but wedding venue map and venue heavy. We also have vendors, but only in Orlando. So we're like venue search engine first. The thing about it is I live in the space in between couples planning weddings and events and the business. So I just listen. I was talking to these ladies over here. I did a wedding show last weekend, and it's crazy the things they say. Because they're nuts. They got no idea what they want, what they need. Like, they're so lost when it comes to events. But it's the listening that helps. And so when I listen, we host monthly networking events similar to what Shannon does at Heels and Handshakes. We average 80 to 120 vendors in there. And so the venues and the planners tend to be the strongest referrals, like in terms of quantity, because they're higher on the list than some of the other vendor categories. And they be big complaining. Caught it. I almost said it. They be complaining. I was close, I got it. They complain because it's easy mistakes that happen on repeat that suck. So let's go through. Number one, why you don't get referrals is because you have to give to get. It's great to receive, but in today's world, you have to be putting out. Like, you have to be doing the behaviors and supporting other businesses. I mean, it's the power of the universe, Jesus, God, whatever you want to call it, but it's a circle, right? And if you're only taking, then you're never going to see the fruits of that on the other side. So in general, people who do heavily refer look for mutually beneficial relationships. So instead of going at things from a one-sided, I hear it a lot, the venues, people are like, how do I get on the list? I'm like, what are you going to do for them? Like, when I worked at a wedding venue, we had one DJ that I asked her to help with this like super budgety holiday party on a Tuesday. You're a wedding DJ, you don't have anything to do on Tuesday. Give me a deal, come on. And she was like, I don't know, I don't think we can do it. And I pulled the numbers and I'm like, well, we've sent you $67,000 in business this year. You get to make a choice today. Do it or don't ever get a referral again. Because I'm mean. Most people would just never refer you again, and they won't say that to you, right? I'll just kick them in the face and keep it moving. So how do you be better about getting, right? Ultimately, you can start asking clients, you know, even before they book you or whatever, and start asking them, what else do you need help with? I know as a planner, that's what you get paid to do, but you might be thinking, oh, I'm the coffee cart, so I'm the last thing people book. That's not true. Today's world of people booking events, it's about priorities first. I'm a foodie, I care about food. So I would put catering higher on the list. I would put dessert and hair and makeup at the bottom. But if she's like a social media TikTok influencer for makeup, she thinks she is, she's gonna book makeup early. So makeup artists, like I trained one of the makeup artists I've been coaching for years, and can you just start asking, what else do you still need? And she was shocked that she was way higher up in the booking process than she thought. But if you don't ask that question to create opportunities to be able to refer your partners, right, then you're never gonna get it back from them. You can do things, I'm an easy thing. I'm a marketer, so I say blogging is easy, don't come for me, right? But you can do things like spotlight blog them, you can do a collab you can do an Instagram live, right? You can just sit around and talk. I was talking to some of the ladies about like flowers and things earlier, and you know, we have to educate them. So going on Instagram live and just talking to each other about what the cost of floral is and why it costs, or food and why it costs what it costs, and just having, it's so much easier for me to have a conversation with a friend in the industry about it than for me to make a reel. Like for me to have to be like, what, is there a script? What am I supposed to say, right? So you can do things like that. You can also just post about people on social media. The easiest way to do this is to just share their content, right? If you've got frienders in the room and they post, you know, a catered affair posts a really cool appetizer, you can just hit share to stories, write a little word, and like easy peasy. Ways to help each other and grow through. Backlinks are the holy grail of SEO. I'm not going down the SEO hole, but like to rank better on Google, the fastest way to do it is to get local businesses in similar categories, meaning the event and wedding industry, to link to your business. Or something like if Heels and Handshake, or sorry, I forgot the name of your company, the publication. Lebanon City, like they've got a directory online. Those directory backlinks, chef's kiss for SEO. Google loves them, right? So like if you can backlink them and they can backlink you, it all helps, but you have to give to be able to get. If you just take, nobody wants to refer you. Or they'll refer you for a while, and then they stop, and you're like, oh God, how did I fall off the list? And go through, right, all the way through. Number 2 is your slow response time. So, in today's world, this is what clients expect. That we are just sitting on computers 10 hours a day responding to their emails. You're a florist, you're a baker, you're a chef, you're whatever, you're out doing things. You're not just sitting there all day, every day. But that's their expectation, right? And you're like, the only way to make that work is to try to talk to you while I'm doing things at the same time, and nobody can actually do any of that all the way through. So here's ways that you can respond faster, and then we're gonna do the raffle giveaway at the end of this one, because I came up with a fun idea. So how to do this faster? The amount of businesses that do not have administrative support blows my mind. I have a 5-hour-a-week admin. She just lives in my inbox. She replies to anything she can answer to. She deletes all the junk. She puts the things that she thinks I might want to read but I don't need to read today into a folder. She stars the things so that when I'm off speaking in another city, when I open my email today, I will know which 8 things I need to respond to. She's handled as much as she can, and then she's like, I don't know what you want to do with the rest of this, so it sits there. But I know those 8 I've got to tackle. If I only get to those 8 today, but admin help and support, there is power in the stay-at-home moms in 2024. There's an entire generation of women who have college degrees and are staying home with children, and they didn't think that they weren't going to work. I have 5 of them on my team. Yeah. They all work like 5 to 10 hours a week. They love it, because they drop their kid off at school. They work whatever they want to work, but they're machines, right? But they make like $20 to $30 an hour depending upon what their task is. For $500 a month, it literally changes my lifetime. So admin help helps you get faster on email, learning how to prioritize your inbox. I actually took like a Gmail course. Stupid, but like that's 5 hours of my life I spent watching it, because I learned all these things you could do to organize your inbox that I didn't know exist. I know how to send, file, and I was like, whoa, that's sexy. So learn how to use the tools you're using better to be more efficient in your time. Setting clear expectations, and that does include out-of-office replies. I feel like sometimes as event people, we fail. Like if you are going on site for 3 days in an event, I need you to put up an out-of-office. If you're somebody who wears cheese shirts to networking events, I also need that out-of-office to be fun. Thanks so much for your inquiry. If you wouldn't say it in person, we don't put it in an email. Thanks so much for reaching out. I'm living my best life, speaking for an amazing group of wedding and event pros up in Nashville this week. If you need anything, Kate will be in and out of my inbox, but if you've been to Nashville, tell me what I should see, I don't have time to do anything while I'm here. But what should I see? What should I eat? What should I be doing? Whatever. It creates engagement. The amount of people that are replying back with restaurants, and I'm not going to see any of it this trip, right? But it creates, they then become, they're excited. They're also willing to wait. Because I've set expectations being like, I'm out living my best life until Friday. I also have learned that my admin checks my email. I don't say reach out to Kate if you need something, because I was doubling the workload. So I'm like, Kate will be in this inbox responding, and you'll think it's me, but it's not me, it's Kate. She'll be in here, and if it's really important. But leave me alone. But you have to set those clear expectations. Have an FAQ page on your website is life-changing, because the frequently asked questions, you can put them in and out of office in your email signature. So it's like, if you have questions, they're probably answered here. Buried on the site. Auto replies from contact forms, sharing resources on blogs, whatever. Okay, so you ready for the game for the raffle? The other problem is when you're one of those people who hoard 76,452 emails in your inbox. Who wins the raffle today? Whoever on your phone can show me the most amount of unopened emails. No, it can be any email address. It can't be your personal. I'm giving you all of it. But whoever's got the most amount of unopened email that can show this a ridiculous ridiculous amount. Personal,
Where are the creatives?
how many you got?
So personal.
Personal,
80,300.
80,364. That is amazing. What'd you say? 52,000. She beat you at 84, but 52,000. I know. Can anybody beat 84,000? That's madness. All right, she gets the basket. Yay! Who knew your lack of initiative was going to win you a prize? I'm like, enjoy. Right? So like, but these are the reasons. All right, circle back. Here's the challenge, right? When you let an inbox of any type run away, you are literally better off opening that 84,000 and deleting all. You're never going to go through it, delete it all to 0 and start again. You can't do that with a business email. Personal email, you can play that game, right? But learning how to use the systems and the things to be able to go faster when you have the time. I also don't get any email notifications, ever. And my inbox, I use Gmail as our email server. I pause the inbox a ton, and I only check my email 4 times a day. Would you die? It's amazing. It's amazing. It changed my life. I do more deep work projects. Like, I have built a business with 400 members. I now have a second business. I can travel over the country to speak because we are efficient in my office. I'm a time management machine. But the expectation, if I refer business to you, is that you respond to them fast. And if you don't, and that client complains to me and is like, well, I emailed that for us, and they never responded, you're going off list. So if you don't fix those problems, you will lose the referrals all the way through. Too late, too bad, so sad. Moving on. Number 3 is your digital presence sucks. Ouch. I'm one of those in certain areas of my personal life, but you look bad online. It's bad. This is where, if I was evaluating if I wanted to refer your business, these are the things I check out. Your Google business listing is number 1 because I Google your name and that Google business listing pops up on the right. Before I even clicked on your website, I got information about you. So I'm like, how complete is it? Things like that. What does your website look like? I know it's hard. Like, I built my business 7 years ago, and me and my team sat down and they're like, we really need a refresh on the website. Well, it's $25,000 as a reinvestment because I own a directory. It's $25,000 investment. I agree we need a refresh. It's $25,000. Can you beautiful ladies, caught it again, can you beautiful ladies sell enough to make us enough money to do a $25,000 website? I was going to say B-I-T-C-H-E-S. Right? So, but they're looking at your Instagram, especially if you're wedding. Instagram is the number 1 place that they are looking to evaluate your business. We did research, because I don't give you information without research. We did research I do 25 wedding shows a year. Pray for me. 25 wedding shows a year. So we keep a clipboard in the booth, and for the first 10 of them this year, every client, I was like, oh, you should check out Legacy Farms. They would go to write it down. I'd be like, no, but can you look right now? If they were over 35, they Googled it. If they were under 31, they looked it up on Instagram. If they were in between, it was like 50-50. So if you target the next demographic, this is the search engine they use. So if you're not investing the time and energy in those platforms, Facebook matters, TikTok matters-ish. It's not life-changing. And if corporate is your world, they will check out your LinkedIn. It matters. On the wedding side of things, I have a LinkedIn, but she's crap. I never post there. Because we all play on Instagram and Facebook. We don't really play on LinkedIn. Except the hotel people. They play with me on LinkedIn. 100%. So how can you fix your digital presence? Making quality, professional-looking content. Meaning, you probably have amazing photography partners that you could get images from. See? He's waving in the back. Good partners share their photos, and you have quality content. You also have cell phones that are 16 megapixel cameras. If you can get the settings right, you can actually do insane things with your own phone. Right? You don't have to, love me some photographers, but they sometimes are slow as SHRT, and you're waiting on the stuff. So use your own tools to be able to do it, but it's gotta look good. You have to be consistent. When I say consistent, I'm begging for once a week. Does my company post 7 days a week on Instagram, do stories 6 days a week? We sure do. But once a week. If you disappear for weeks on end, guess what happens when a client looks there? What do they think? in 16 weeks, you're out of business. Especially post-pandemic. That window of time, I was like, you gotta be posting every day, because companies are going down like flies, right? So like, you have to be more consistent. You should be tagging the locations and the people you're collaborating with, right? You should be doing those behaviors, because that is how you build give to get. You want them to tag you, you tag them, we all grow. The about page and contact info on your website. The statistic is 62% of all people who hit a small business website go to the about page. 62%. They want to know who you are, why they should do business with you. They want to know the face behind the business. Does this happen with huge corporate companies? Not as much, but from a smallish business perspective, they care about the people, right? You may know Kelly, but do you know Amy and Maddie and like the team at Legacy Farms? And if you don't know them, I want to know what they like, what are they passionate about, to decide if I want to do business with people. And then the contact info can, God willing, this is the one takeaway you take today. If in the footer of your website is not your telephone number and your email address, you have failed in life. Because web designers have trained us to scroll to the bottom to look for a phone number and email address. I know that because on my website, which is a venue search engine, they will search a venue, the listing has the phone number, they scroll to the bottom and call my cell phone. Do you have availability for a tour? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna bet you're on weddingvenuemap.com. Which venue are you looking at? And let me get you their number, right? Because we've trained the world. So if you don't have it, I don't care if it's on your contact page, it should be in your footer, because that's where they're looking. Those phone call people like to call people, but they gotta be able to find the phone number and the info fast. Pricing and package info, we can find all day why you should be putting pricing on your website, but and review and update your Google business listing. So let me give you a few specific examples, because I'm all about action points. I pulled this from the DJ conference, it's fine. But this was a DJ who was there at the conference. He didn't even have his phone number on the Google business listing. And some of the things is because you maybe had it there and then they refreshed it or they added new things. You gotta be checking this consistently, like 2 or 3 times a year. You also should be responding back to your reviews. This is a very important factor. And in today's world, dirty cheat, dump that thing into ChatGPT and let Chatty write it for you. That's her name in my office. I'm like, that Chatty girl, she's the best. She's the best admin I ever hired, right? But you can cheat on the free version. You can literally put the review in and say, please reply to this review in a friendly, fun, and professional manner. And she'll write the reply and you just copy and paste it in. So don't tell me you don't have time for that. Photos is also another huge factor on Google business listings. And your Google business listing actually affects your SEO ranking. If you don't ever touch that and you never add photos to it, Google's like, this company isn't active. Even though you are, right? So like, you can add photos directly to, when you open the photos, all of his photos were 2 years old. So like, to Google, that's how, one of the many factors where they start ranking, you know, move you up, move you down, all of those things, that algorithm, she's not a nice lady. But doing those things when you also upload images there, I also need you to file name, save them as your business name. Because the amount of time today's couples are right-click save as, or saving them to their phone and emailing them to a vendor, this file name is 10/15/2020. They'll never remember who that DJ was. They're like, oh, I love this, and they won't remember who it was. So change the file name when you're doing it. But there's so many things in there. Now you can add social media handles as of about 60, 90 days ago. You can add your social media links. But there's all these things that you can do in your Google business listing that you should be taking advantage of. Now, if you're a venue, turn your ears off. But if you're not a venue, here's some sexy, dirty stuff. You ready? Do you know that you can add photos to other people's Google listings? Did you know that? Okay. So what you can do is you can do 2 things. You can go into somebody's reviews. You can either leave them a review and add photos, or you can just flat out add photos. And if you add photos in that manner, it goes into their Google business listing. Crazy, right? Now, if I was a photographer, I'd make damn sure that my watermark was in the right-hand corner. I have a photographer friend in Connecticut, and that's the 100% how she grew her business. Every wedding she would shoot, she'd go into their Google business listing, add 15 photos from that. So every time people were opening it, it was her weddings with the logo in the corner. And they cannot remove them. Dirty. Sorry, venues. Dirty. So this is a venue we hosted a networking event at. We added, not a networking event, we threw a massive industry party at this. It was a brand new venue. Some of the photos on there, that photo right there is currently, I just checked it yesterday, it is at 714,000 views. Now I didn't put logos on it because like they hosted, gave us free space, so I did it to be a good partner. But they 700,000 views. Because when people Google image search names, this is where it pulls from, right? So ways to be a good partner. How many of you are doing any of that? Yeah, you haven't touched your Google business listing in a while, right? Gonna do it after you get home today? Okay. Also, another thing to consider is that your reviews are lacking, right? So if you came to something like this and you meet a great planner and you're like, oh, I'm an ABC DJ, right? And they're like, oh, okay, and they go and look you up. The first place another B2B is gonna look is your Google reviews. I'm looking at Google before I'm looking at anything else because that's what comes up first. So it's great that you send them to Yelp and The Knot and Wedding Wire and Zola and maybe any of these other places where you have a directory listing. That's helpful. But if you're not driving them to Google, you're making a huge mistake. So, I want to hear what people say about your business more than just you telling me about your business, right? So they're looking for how many reviews you have, how recent are the reviews, are they specific and detailed or fluffy BS? I love that venue. Cool. That's like, it doesn't look like a real review, right? Like it doesn't look like it's received that way. Do they name specific team members? That's a big one. Like who do they love at that, with that business? And then do you read and reply to them, including the negative ones? Just like, wait, and don't reply when you're pissed off. I do that all the time. And then I have to go back and fix it. Right? Like, cause I'm like, roar, you're wrong. And then I'm like, just kidding, let me fix that. Right? But they wanna know that you're paying attention to them, right? You're asking for them most of the time, correct? Like you ask people to write you a review, why wouldn't you respond back? And say, thank you so much, we loved working with you on your event all the way through. I know you ask for these reviews and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and maybe you send one email and you don't do anything else. The other thing to keep in mind in that give to get framework is you all can review each other. During COVID, I didn't want to get out of bed either. But I got up every day and I wrote 5 Google reviews for another vendor in the industry. This is what I can do to get my butt in a chair at a computer every morning. And I sat down and was like, who can I write a review for today? And I was just, because it was like, how can I help our industry stay afloat? I can keep telling people how great it is, right? So how you can do it to get more reviews and better reviews. Start the review process asking for reviews and telling them how important they are at the very start of the sales process. And what I mean by that is, I'll use venue because that was my world. On a tour, I would say, oh, have you seen our reviews online? And they'd be like, oh no, and I'd be like, you know what, as a small business, we're so passionate about working with our clients, it's so important to us to get the feedback after the fact, and you to be able to share that with the next potential person. So I want you to hear what our clients say about us. I can tell you we're amazing all day long, but I want you to see what other people say about us, right? But you have to start how important reviews are to us at the very first appointment, not wait till the event is over and then ask for a review. That just doesn't really work as well all the way through. Remind them at the final meeting, whatever your final meeting is in your process, and get a verbal commitment. Meaning, so listen, it's really important to us after your event is over, about 2 weeks later, I'm gonna send you an email and ask you if you're willing to write us a review. Do you think you'd be willing to do that? Ask the question. They say yes, you've now got a verbal commitment. So now when I ask you to write that review, there's a psychological thing that happens in that process that they're like, oh, I said I would do it. Right? Or then when I poke them and I'm like, hey, don't forget us. Do it. I followed up at least 3 times, and we also bribed people for reviews. What that means in your world is very different. You have to figure that out. We were a hotel resort that they got married at, so I gave them a certificate to come back the month of their wedding for their anniversary for a one-night stay. Did they use it? No. Did they all write me a review because they got so excited they got a free night stay? Yes. Right? So what is the thing that you can do? I have my podcast co-host, she owns a cake and dessert company, and she gives them an anniversary tier. If they write her a review on one site, she gives a free anniversary tier. Only about 30% of them come back for it. But then she continues the relationships and continues to get referrals from that client because they're committed. They probably would have written them anyways, but it's that little incentive. I get asked to write reviews all the time, and then sometimes it's like, there's a $20 Amazon gift card. I'm like, well, I got lists of crap on Amazon I want to buy, and I'm not allowed to. Beauty products that TikTok tells me I need, I don't need them. but I need that Amazon gift card, then my boyfriend doesn't see it, get the credit card, right? All the way through. All right, number 5 is painful. You're just a jerk. This used to say ASSHOLE when the DJs were in the room, but we're not that rude, right? Like, you're not pleasant to work with on event day. It matters in terms of getting referrals. I love Seinfeld. So what are people looking for? They're looking for people who work together as a team, and if I'm a venue, I'm looking to make sure you follow my rules. Find out what the rules are. Or if I'm a planner and I've given you a timeline, follow it. Or read it. I mean, bonus points for reading. Read it the day of. I don't care if you read it in the morning with your coffee, right? But working together as a team, being timeline flexible, things happen, we gotta work together to make it happen. But those people who are not flexible do not end up getting referrals. Who wants to work with them? I mean, we had we used to call the DNR, not do not resuscitate, but do not refer list at my venue, because I was like, these people are dead to us. And if a client would say, what do you think of XY DJ? We would say, we choose to not refer that vendor. One sentence. We choose to not refer that vendor. And they'd say, why? I'd be like, you either trust me or you don't. You don't need to know the dirty gossip. Because the story is real good, but I can't tell you because that's slander. So we just choose to not refer that vendor, right? And it could be a slew of things. One of my event spaces was a restaurant by day and an event space by night, and I had a DJ who showed up at 11 a.m. was like, where do I set up? I'm like, in your car for the next 4 hours. Well, I need the time. I'm like, it's a table and 12 uplights. Like, it's 6 hours. Look. And I was like, he's never working here again, because he stressed my whole staff out the whole time. People want people who are good to communicate with and they're positive on event day. It's already stressful enough. We have stressful jobs in everything that we do. I saw there was like somebody who does real estate, right? Somebody do real estate? Yeah, right, like it is stressful. I was trying to buy a house in 2021. It was the Hunger Games in Florida. Like my real estate agent, it'd be like 9 o'clock at night and I'd be like, a house hit, I gotta go tomorrow. And we got our house, she's like, there's literally no one to show it to you tomorrow. I was like, you know I really love you, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, you know I know 76 real estate agents that can get me into that house tomorrow. And she's like, I will send the intern. I was like, I will take the intern. Like, unlock the door is all I need you to do, right? Because houses were selling within 48 hours, right? It's stressful. I put so much stress on that poor woman because I was like, I mean, a house would hit and I'd be like, make an appointment. Like, it was that, what we do is stressful enough. You don't have to add to it all the way through. So, when you're working event day, please remember to smile, or working with people in a stressful situation. Get your stuff set up and offer to help other people. Meet the staff and learn who the people are who are working that day. I used to love when people would figure out who our captains were and the servers were and the bartenders were, so that it's like, if I'm gonna write them a review or work with them again, like I wanna know who I was there with. So take the time to like have real conversations with people. Be confident, not cocky. I'm confident all day long. I know my SHIT. But I don't come across in a way, I'm still happy to help everybody and explain it and teach it in a way. So go in with confidence, you know you do well, right? So like go in with confidence and then plan the timeline as a team. It's not just about you when it comes to events, you have to work together all the way through. Number 6 hurts. Who's been in the industry for longer than 20 years? I like to call us trailblazers. The youngies call us veterans. That makes me sound like I've been through a war, which we have. 2008 and 2020, right? But you're not the shiny penny anymore. Your stuff might still be good, but there's plenty of people coming up behind you. Fast, furious, better at digital marketing than we are, 100%. So you have to figure out how you can position. People are looking for the next best shiny thing. Right? I mean, the coffee cart ladies were here last night. It was exceptional. I was asking them questions. I'm like, we now have 11 coffee carts in Orlando. 11 who only do events. And I was like, how do you distinguish? What do you do different than what other people do? And she was like, that's a really good question. She's like, there's only a few here. And I'm like, they're coming. So like, what can you do to not get lost and to continue to be the shiny penny? So you have to be trending with the next best thing. Like they had this cool printer, which I don't know if anybody has in Orlando, where they like press a picture and it printed it on the coffee. So one of the brides last night texted a picture of her dog to the coffee cart people, and they printed her dog on top of the coffee. That bride was like, how much does this cost and can I add it to my wedding? what's next and what's coming and be knowledgeable. I don't ever, in my life, I have never made a TikTok. I know what's trending before 80% of our industry because I consume content on TikTok, right? Like, you have to stay ahead of things, show up consistently, know the pop culture in your category. My 16-year-old niece just came to visit. My mom just told me how much my 75-year-old mother just told me all about SZA. I didn't know who that was, so then I've gone down the hole of listening to SZA's music. Like, who knew? And it's not spelled SZA, it's like SXCA. Maybe wrong, but something like that. Like, you have to know what the hell people are talking about. Heck, damn, that was down. Way better than FCK. So you gotta know what you also, as we get older, you have to hire younger people. My whole staff is under 36. I am the veteran. They are the shiny pennies. The industry in my market looks to me for knowledge and expertise, not for trends. Right? So like, you have to have, how do you stay ahead of that and be in the first in your market to do new things rather than playing catch up. You gotta stay ahead of stuff. Get creative. If you're a rental company, buy the new stuff nobody's ever seen. Stay in front of things. Number 7, this doesn't count, those are stars. You're an SHIT talker. You know who I'm talking about, right? You know those people in the industry that walk up? We've got a minister, Baptist minister in Orlando. We call him Mouth of the South. He walks up to you at a networking event. I'm like, what you got? There's tea. He's got tea to spill. He runs his mouth so bad, but I use it to my advantage. So when I need to spread information, I call him and I'm like, you are never gonna guess what happened to me today. 48 hours later, the whole industry knows, and I'm like, bam, let's start selling that. Right? Like, how can I use it to my advantage? I am the hub of so much information in Orlando's wedding industry. I know where all the bodies are buried because everyone calls me with information, but I am a vault. Unless you're one of my 2 closest friends or my boyfriend, because I gotta tell somebody, right? But it is those people who run their mouths around the industry, they, at some point, they don't last long. Because they burn that bridge in a way, and then as soon as I find out that you're a stuff talker, then I am not going to, I don't want to do business, and I'm never going to tell you anything, right? So how you can do this, please don't say how much you hate your job or complain about your clients at the event. You know what I'm talking about, right? You immediately see that, and you can think of a vendor who does this. You're on site at an event, and they're like, oh my God, isn't this couple the worst? Shut up. Once I had a coordinator at my venue who complained about the bride to the photographer, who was a family friend and she didn't know it. Mom called my cell phone and was like, can you come down here? And I was like, sure. I was sales, not ops, so I wasn't usually there on event day. And I walked in and she's like, I'd like Katie to leave the wedding. And I was like, I would be happy to make that happen. Can you tell me what happened? She's like, well, she called my daughter a bitch. And she did. She did. The bride was a bitch. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the point. Shut your mouth on event day. You don't know who is in that room, who has a relationship to who. You don't know what vendor you're saying something to that is friends with that vendor all the way through. Stop sharing other people's business. Also keep your disaster stories to yourself. What do you think I think when you tell me as a cake baker that, like, oh my God, last weekend we dropped the cake as we were walking in? You do what? Like, mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. But don't tell people your dirty laundry. Keep it to yourself. Or call your significant other that's not in the industry. That's what I do. And positive vibes only. Like, no one wants to do business with negative people, right? They don't want to be around people. I'm brutal at networking events. If you come up and start spilling tea to me, I literally will look you in the face and be like, I bet that person wished you didn't just tell me that. And they're like, and I'm like, so I'm gonna walk away like I didn't hear it. I mean, I put it in the vault. And I call my boyfriend. But at the end of the day, someone needs to, it's not good look for you to say that about that person or about someone else, right? So it's embarrassing probably for them because things do happen. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. We would like to be, but we're not. Number 8 is you're also not as good as you think you are. Ouch. You think you're the best at what you do. I will give a catered fare a huge, I have looked at the menus from Kelly's Catering Company for 5 years and I have never eaten the food until yesterday. I was like, this is delicious. I'm bougie with catering. I've been in the industry 20 years. You know, rich, dry question to answer about your own business always is what makes you different than everyone else. It's a hard question to answer, right? But you have to be able to answer that. You have to do more than just check boxes in today's world. You have to go above and beyond. Exceed expectations often. Awesome customer service start to finish. Not I booked the client and then I don't talk to you for 7 months until your event comes. Because the couples in today's world, especially on the wedding side, they are like, I haven't heard from my DJ in 6 months. The DJs think, oh, I got other stuff to do and other events coming. But the couples are like, doesn't he care about us? He doesn't. He took your money, he's gonna execute the event. That's fine, but it's the perception, right? That's not above and beyond touching base. Like, I want you to make me look good and I want you to have the wow factor. What are you doing that's the wow that I can be like, damn, I wanna send business to them because cause she matches her freaking fingernails to your event theme. Like, that's insane and I'm here for it. I used to match my colors to the wedding theme way back in the day in catering, but like, that's amazing. That is a wow factor. I'm like, that planner cares so much about the design aspect of your event. They match their nails to your event. That's a wow factor. What are you doing to create that? So exceeding expectations, this is a huge one. I think that most vendors fail because they don't ask the venue and the planner for actual feedback. I think we do what we do and we move on to the next event. And I think we're not good. So please just take a picture of this. It's the best email. You can download the slides also at the end. But it just says, hi, Kelly. Well, it's like, hi, Amy. We love working with your team on Susie and Mike's wedding last Friday. Specific compliment about that event. We believe that all feedback is the best way for us to continue to improve and our goal is to exceed your expectations. If you don't mind taking a few minutes to reply, share your honest opinion how our team did throughout the planning process and at the event, we're always looking for opportunities to improve and grow. Looking forward to our next event together. I say this because we have a florist in Orlando that I was like, you are starting to send out teams and your teams are not up to your expectation and you are not there and you do not know it. I'm like, send the email. She sent the email. The first email response back was from a hotel that was like, unfortunately, based upon this weekend, your company has been removed from our preferred vendor list. If she hadn't asked, they never would have told her. And it was so minor. It was the Ritz-Carlton. It was like a $15,000 floral install, and one of her team members showed up in denim and jeans. That is not okay at the Ritz-Carlton. That one thing. Now, she was able to save it because she knew. I'm requiring uniforms. We've instituted policies. Here's our new uniform. And they were like, okay, we'll give you another shot. But if she hadn't asked, you don't always know what you've done. Maybe you didn't move your car fast enough and it pissed. You don't know. But it also might be like your team was amazing. They were incredible. But if you don't start asking the people you work with on that day for feedback, how do you get better? You just think you're great. But then the rest of us talk at networking events behind your back. You gotta go above and beyond to do things a little bit more than what people would expect all the way through. Number 9, you don't get referrals because you haven't earned it. Please don't send the email to me at the venue and be like, hi, I'm Susie the photographer and I want to be on your list. Venues and planners get anywhere from 5 to 20 of those emails a week. You know what they do? You haven't earned a referral from someone because they're looking for people who've maybe worked a few successful events. Feedback from clients, right? So if you have really good reviews, trust is earned, but also I think one of the unique things is, I'm gonna talk specific to ceviche, right? Like you do a very unique thing. So while I don't need another DJ, photographer, florist, caterer on my list, when you offer a super unique service, a coffee cart, we have a babysitting company, we've got pet sitting companies in Orlando, we got all the sitters all over, right? When you offer something totally unique, different approach is okay, because it's not, you don't fall into the category of everything else. But I'm gonna check your reviews and go through your things and see what you've got. But trust has to be earned. So how can you build the relationship, right? You've got to figure out how can you anticipate their needs, share your expertise. You go to things like this and you learn stuff and you this is the best email follow-up you can do for a planner or somebody you've been trying to reach out to. I just went to this event at Legacy Farms and they brought in the best speaker. Just kidding. But they brought in a great speaker, and I learned these 3 things that we could do. You could be doing this in your business also. Be helpful. Share the things, the knowledge, the expertise. You go to conferences, you watch webinars, share the knowledge and show that. Also, don't hesitate to be there in case of emergency. What I mean by that is just because planners and vendors and other people, they have their go-to people, you never know. By being like, you know, we're a new company, so we've got maybe more availability than some. If anything were to happen this fall, please call us first, because I can jump. I know it's 3 officiants in Orlando when, you know, that Brian's like, my cousin's gonna do it. And then on Friday, the planner's like, Shannon, I need officiant. I know which 3 have big enough teams that they can move. And they respond to text immediately, right? And they get back to me. So don't hesitate to take the approach when you're trying to build a relationship to be like, let me be your backup person. I don't need to be your primary or your secondary or tertiary. Like, let me be the person when you're like, I gotta give a shot to go. And then comment on social media posts. This is such a weird way to get in front of other businesses. On my team, one person is responsible for conversion on Instagram, one is responsible for content, and my 75-year-old mother is responsible for engagement. She sits around drinking wine and coffee in her retirement. She opens the she didn't have an Instagram. She opens the Instagram, clicks a button, scrolls, likes and comments. That's all she does. She thinks what we do is incredible. She comments like, this is the most beautiful flower that I've ever seen in the history of life. And I'm like, it's not in the value. I'm like, whatever, right? Like, it's not that. But the way she comments, within 90 days, our Instagram engagement went up 2,300%. Because she comments and scrolls and likes 15 minutes a day. She's retired. She got nothing else better to do. Don't give this to a 19-year-old who can't spell. Boozy can spell. That's what we call my mom, is Boozy. And she drinks wine and works, right? That's what she does. But when you start commenting on other people's content, right? So this is a venue in New Jersey that's like, oh yay, Allison and Michael said yes to our venue. Look at this. A DJ, a photographer. You don't think that Allison and Michael aren't looking at that post to see who commented on it and start clicking, and they go down the rabbit hole of Instagram. It's such an easy way for you to build rapport. You got a planner you want to work with, start commenting on all their stuff. At some point, they're going to be like, who is this? You will stand out rather than just dump into their inbox of just another email that they don't want to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a dirty way also to go after venues. I know, sorry venue people, this is what I do. So this is a venue in Orlando. If you click on someone's followers, see where that arrow is at the top? The list that pops up, this doesn't work if you do this as consistently as we do. But if you've never done this before, the list that pops up is chronological. So it's their newest followers at the top. So you can kind of go in and be like, well, what if I'm a bride searching for a venue, I damn sure don't have my flowers yet, right? Like I'm still looking at venues and following new venues. So you can go in and start looking at their profiles, because you know what 25-year-old brides do on their Instagram profile? They post pictures of like, they add ring emojis to their profile. They're like, wedding date, blah, blah, blah. Mr. and like, my new fi, which is fiance in 2024. It's fi now. We can't use the whole word. It's just my fi. Right? So like, but this is ways for you to build relationships and start looking and using these platforms to lead generate for you. The last one on my list is your business is not their priority. Meaning that like, of course you want referrals, but you have to work to stay top of mind. It's easy to just forget about people. We have an amazing wedding photographer in Orlando, and she's had like what I would call 17 kids because I don't have any. I feel like she pops out a baby every 2 years. I think she only has 3, but in my head, I'm like, are you pregnant again? Like, I feel like you're always pregnant every time I see you. Well, she showed up to a networking event, and I heard 3 people be like, oh, I thought you went out of business. She was so mad. When I scroll social and watch trash to distract myself, I don't look at wedding crap. I watch cat videos, comedians, trendy stuff on social media. I watch a lot of marketing videos and reels and TikTok. I'm not consuming your content because I've already seen all of the things you're posting. Unless I'm intentionally looking for it, I'm not hunting for it. So people just forget about you. You have to work to stay top of mind and remind them that your business is there, right? Like they have to remember that you're there past just posting on social. It's just not enough anymore. So you can do, if you've got great planners who bring you business, like can you incentivize and do something extra? I'm not a discount queen. I don't believe in discounting services. I believe in value adding. Like, can you do something extra for them? Like, because they brought you the business. Can you, like, you should actually have like a top of mind marketing plan, right? It's seasonal. You're seasonal here too, right? Like August, you're starting to ramp back up, but like it's hot as Hades. Same in Florida. Nobody gets married in Florida in July and August. Like no one. They'd reach out to our venue and say, I'm looking at an August date. I'm like, are you from here? How long have you lived here? Like, on purpose? You want to get married in August? Right? So, like, it's seasonal. So, I had a photographer that she knew my team's Starbucks order, and every single wedding day she showed up with our Starbucks order. You don't think we referred her more than all the other ones on the list, do you? That $20 she spent in Starbucks every wedding day was like life changing, because that one little thing she did that nobody else did was, it made a huge difference to our team. Because at the venue we started at 8 a.m. not at 2 o'clock when she rolled in. So by 2 o'clock I need that caffeine hit, right? So little things like that. Do you buy lunch, take them out to lunch once a year? If you go to networking events, or like you're a member of Heels and Handshakes, have you ever thought to say, hey, like why do you come with me? I'll buy your ticket. Like, we have such a great relationship, you refer me all the time, why don't you come with me to Heels and Handshake, and I can help I can help connect you to some other people, right? That's how to stay top of mind. Quarterly touch base, email marketing newsletters, she's a little bit more work, tracking lists and all of that stuff, but if you already go to networkers and you're shoving all these business cards you get into an email list, send them once a month, here's what's going on with us. Like, let them know what's happening. It's such an easy way to touch base. We had a DJ in Orlando that she sends out playlists 4 times a year, like on Spotify. So it'll be like seasons coming, oh, it's slow season, so she'll make like a chill out playlist. And she sends a link to it, or she does a holiday playlist every year on Thanksgiving. You always get it the day after Thanksgiving. It comes every Friday. It's all here's some of your favorite holiday songs, and here's some new ones you've probably never heard of. But I look forward to that playlist. She's been doing it for 10 years. Right? So things like that, and then extra love during slow season. I know you're going on vacation and you're slowing down too, but that's the time we have to come to things like this and play with each other. Don't ask me to go to lunch in November, because I'm gonna delete your email. Or be like, thanks so much, reach out to me again in the future. When you don't create an actual plan for how you're gonna get more referrals in your business, it's not usually the most successful funnel in your business. But I grew an entire catering company from no one had ever heard of them to almost 600 events a year with a $0 marketing budget. He would only let me go to networking events. So I was like, well, I'm gonna learn every single possible thing that I can about building relationships better. Because if this is the only funnel he's gonna give me money to build, I'm gonna get real good at it. So we had a venue partner that the girls who worked there, they did like afternoon coffee break, and they would drink those International Delight creamers. I mean, it's 15 years ago now, I love them, but we'll probably all die from drinking them and all the flavors, right? But they loved them, so every event we catered, they weren't there on Saturdays. Every event we catered, I'd hit our grocery store on the way, pick up whatever stupid seasonal flavors just came out, put a little card in the bag, and it was in their fridge when they got to work on Monday morning. That venue had 10 caterers on the list. We were doing 95% of the events. Because I bought them coffee creamer. Right? How can you be intentional with making a plan for this in your business rather than just hoping and going all the way through it? You might be the problem. Sorry, I'm the problem. It's me. Taylor told us. Right? Like, you've got to make the changes to go through. So it is time to level up this one area of your business. Think through. I believe when you go to education and listen to podcasts and hear things, I want you to just think in your head right now and write down on your phone and email it to yourself. What's the one thing you're going to do? One. I just gave you 400. What's the one thing you're going to take action on that you're like, I learned all this stuff, I'm going to do this one thing. And if you get nothing else out of this, other than that one thing, it will move your needle forward. I know your list is already long. What's that one little thing that you're going to be like, I'm going to look at it? Somebody shout it out. What are you gonna do?
Google profile.
Google business profile. That one's an ouch, because we never look at them. What else?
Ask for more Google reviews.
Ask for the Google reviews. Hell, and remember, we can review each other. Like,
Can I ask you a question on
yeah.
that? Cause I have done that with other vendors.
Yeah.
And then like magically some of them don't appear.
Here's the thing. What you see on your side is not what the customer sees.
Oh, really?
So Google is having a massive problem with this right now. So the reviews, I get a lot of sometimes that they're like, I actually wrote your review. I'm like, I did. Oh, beautiful lady. That's not what I wanted to say. And I screenshot it and I send it to them. I'm like, I did it. They can't see it, but it's done, and other customers searching can see it. So do it anyways. Like, you might not even, but if you go into your profile, you can usually then see. You just can't see it always on the public side.
Got it.
Does that make sense? What else are you gonna do? Anybody?
My mother-in-law's gonna be my boozy.
Mother-in-law. I tell everybody you've got a boozy. Okay, can I teach you like a super secret? I know I'm running over. Can you open your Instagrams on your phone? I'm gonna teach you something you probably didn't even know was there. If you're an advanced marketer, you already know this. When you open Instagram on your phone, Instagram added a secret new little area where, you know how you scroll your feed and it's full of crap and it's suggested junk? Click on the Instagram logo at the top. You see how it says favorites and following? If you click following, click on the Instagram when you're just in the regular account on the home page. If you click the Instagram logo at the top, if your app is updated, it should say following or favorites. If you click following, it now will only show you a new feed of the people you're following. You also can favorite your top 50. So if you're gonna have a boozy do it, who are the best referrals for your business? Sorry, I don't know what her name was. Cheryl, who's the best referrals for your business?
Best referral would be people who post on when they're getting married.
Got it. So, or think B2B.
B2B, they're having a convention.
Venues or conventions or whatever. Can you go in and favorite the top 50 accounts? And if you're only gonna go in once a day and comment, just comment on those top 50. You can favorite up to 50. But you can change the feed, so this will start, you'll start thinking twice before you start following everybody. We don't follow everybody.
Where do you favor 'em? Where do you favor 'em?
If you go into their account, I can show you. If you go into their account and you click on where it says, like you're already following them, when you click on that, there's a drop down that says favorites and close friends, and you can categorize them. But it allows you to be more efficient. If you're going to focus on engagement, be efficient with the time all the way through. If you want the slides, drop your name and email address in, and it should pretend like this works, because I wrote it at 2 o'clock this morning. It should work. If it doesn't, I'll make sure you get them. But if you drop your email address in and your name, it should email you all the slides so that you have, without all the gifts, so the file's a little bit smaller. I got a little silly with gifts. But that way you can get them and have them and give them to your team, put it on your calendar to recheck them out 6 months from now when you've got time to be like, what else can I go take action on? Oh, she's back. What else can I go take action on all the way through? I do want to thank Kelly so much for having me come out from Orlando to be able to talk and share and give you guys some ideas on really how to focus on building the community that you're in and a part of getting more referrals ultimately within your business. It makes a huge difference in the success. When the SHIT hits the fan, it's the relationships that keep us all alive, right? Like, that's the biggest difference. If you need help, support, I don't know, I don't do a whole ton of coaching. I'm really good at audits and blowing through your stuff just to see things you want to fix. You can always reach out to me if you have questions. That's my email address and all of that stuff. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to help you with some stuff. And if you need anything, I'm around. I'm always down to come back to Nashville. Thank you guys so much.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yes.
I learned a lot. I'm a nerd, so I'm always looking for stuff to learn. But I got new stuff. The list is big. I hope you have stuff you're gonna go back and work on. Thank you for being here today. If you're interested in seeing anything on the property, Maddie's going to be down at Heritage Hall, or we have a new garden that's open. Michelle's going to be in here. She can answer catering questions. Amy's headed up to the bed and breakfast if you need a retreat or just a place to come with your team. So thanks for being here, and we'll be in touch. I have questions, so we'll be in touch. Thank you.
So
Really good.
Okay. Take this. Yeah, of course.